Good afternoon, world. Let's release this dog. Go on then. Off she goes. Brownie is sticking close to Story today because she has got Poppy's training treats, and Brownie has developed a loving for those treats. Because when Poppy's in crazy mode, Brownie stays nearby so he can get the treats that Poppy's missing out on. Doing a bit of frisbee practice again, and Poppy seems to have fallen in love with more coconut shreds. Poppy has always loved ripping up coconut shreds like these old dry barks. She loves doing it. Ever since she was a puppy, I remember her doing that when she was a teeny tiny puppy. God, I just thought I saw some videos of when we first got her, and she was so small, of course, and she was sick and dying and just a little pup. And now she's this strong beast with pointy ears running around with a coconut shred there. Look at you having fun. Go on then, tear that up. What's really good about Poppy is even though she's got this desire to like rip up things and damage her toys and whatnot, she never actually damages any furniture or anything in the house that we have. Nothing of value. Even if we leave her for a long time in the house all day, she won't do it. I'll tell you what, Pops, get it out of your system because you're not bringing that back in the house, okay? It'll be a big old mess if you do. Brownie, I don't have any treats, I'm sorry. I don't have any. Poppy's got them all. I'm sorry, Story. I did that classic dad thing where you mix up your kids' names. So it has been a few days since we've returned to the island after being in the city and experiencing BGC and talking about how much we really loved the city experience, how easy it was to buy properties there, and just how it felt in general. So I thought it would be good to give you a roundup of how we're feeling now that we're back in Siargao. My personal opinion is that this is still a very special place to be, and it's also very special to us as well. This island has played a very important role in our lives in the last couple of years. There's definitely a sentimental attachment to this place and what it means. So we think going forward, we will definitely be investing in some land here first in Siargao, and then later in life, if and when we can afford it, we would also buy a smaller studio unit like what we experienced at Casa Minelli just a few days back, and turn that into a rental. I think that would be the ideal thing because we wouldn't have to live there the whole time. It could be an additional source of income, but there's a lot of hoops that need to be jumped through to own land on an island. The main issue that Sacha and I have with this island at this point, being totally honest, is the later months of the year, near to December, after experiencing the typhoon. We are very much still traumatized by bad weather here. So coming close to December time, we start getting bad feelings about being on this island. As soon as we feel some wind, we see heavy rain and some of the windows or the doors start leaking a little bit. It's like, just get that feeling back of what happened last year in December when we had the typhoon smash our house to pieces. And so thinking about that, keeping that in mind when we invest here, it would have to be somewhere that didn't have the same problems, you know? So basically not a seaside property. How are you feeling about the weather here at the moment?
Okay.
Trauma? Anything? No, nothing kicking in yet?
Yes, a night. When once last, well, a couple of days ago, was it? It was night time. It wasn't that late, but it just suddenly you could hear the wind outside and something was banging outside, like with the wind. And it started to rain, wind, darkness. And I was just like, I can't sit here. I had to move from where I was sitting and I had to change location, and just like I said to Jay, where can you check it on the phone, what's happening? It was like, it's fine, there's nothing, but it just sounds worse than what it actually is. But yeah, didn't like it.
It wasn't just us two, Poppy as well. The minute she feels anything, whether it's like a small earthquake or the tiniest noise of wind and rain coming, straight to Story's bedroom.
She runs, even if she's asleep, and it starts.
In there.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. Right, Story has asked for an intermission of that dark talk to show us that she's found fish somewhere. It's high tide now, isn't it? This is a good bit actually, because even when the waves are getting strong, it's protected by the reef here, so you could actually float about in this. Maybe give it.
I spied an eel.
You spied an eel, did you? Okay.
Eel.
Any eels? One person who doesn't seem too affected by any of this is actually Story.
It's just fine.
She doesn't care. She seems to be absolutely fine about everything. Like, you know, yeah, that happened, but we're good. Let's carry on.
Yeah, which is great.
It is great.
We were saying about Poppy, so immediately, as soon as she hears like a bit of stronger wind than normal, she'll go straight into Story's room and sit either on Story's bed with Story, or she'll go in the corner or try and get underneath the bed, but she's actually too big to get under the bed now.
Yeah.
Which was like her hideout zone after the storm. She just slept under the bed the whole time.
Yeah, it's true. It was the exact same place that she ran to during the typhoon. She goes there. Like. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I believe that you saw the fish. Adding to the idea of the whole sentimental feeling of living on this island, it's also where Poppy comes from. She's obviously born and bred here, raised here, and also this island was part of Eden's life, our previous dog. So I do think that our experience in the Philippines is quite heavily linked to Siargao, which definitely affects our opinions on where and what we're going to do with our future investments. Ah, maybe she knew this was happening. She knew the water was coming. Thank you, Story. Good girl, you saved us from the big... You did, didn't you? You heard the big wave coming. Yeah, the tide really surprises you, doesn't it? Just moments ago, Story was saying, oh, I could swim in there.
Yeah.
But if she was swimming in there, she would have already been washed up to sea. She would have been a beached dolphin, Story. A beached mermaid. Thank you for saving my slippers. I think I mentioned recently as well, I feel like we have got lucky with the weather this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think comparing it to last year, this time last year, it was much more rainy, actually. Story's birthday wasn't that nice last year, whereas this year it's been fine.
Yeah.
So maybe it will go into December and be okay as well. I'm sure it will be okay. But
yeah. But I mean, this is the reason why we did plan to be in Luzon for Christmas time, to like try and avoid some of the Siargao weather. But in the last few months, I shouldn't really be laughing about this, but they've had 2 typhoons in Luzon. So it's like we might try and avoid it here and end up in a typhoon over there.
I know. It's something out of our control as well, isn't it? You just don't know.
Yeah.
But we've learned to just keep an eye on the weather apps now and just know what's going on. Try not to get caught out like last time.
Well, also because we have now gone through such a powerful super typhoon, we know what happens. Basically, we understand what happens to the buildings, to the windows, to whatever. So if a super typhoon is coming, we'd obviously be more prepared than we were last year. But then I hope so would everybody else on the island, you know.
Yeah, I think like living where we are living, it's so close to the edge, you know. We're so close to the nothingness out here, and as lovely as it is on most days, we wake up every morning and are just so thankful that we're here. It is such a blessing, and I'm so happy and so grateful for this kind of chapter of our life here, and we'll look back on it very, very, very fondly. But moving forwards, just that small, like 5-10% of the time when it is a bit scary being this close to the sea, I fear that we will hold on to that trauma for longer than we would like. And it's not something that we actively think about either. It's just, it happens as soon as we hit a certain noise or we get triggered by something, and then we just kind of, my heart starts beating a little bit faster. I start getting a bit twitchy or a bit anxious.
Yeah, stuff that didn't trigger us at all in the past, no worry in the world. Now I'll be sitting there like feeling that sweat coming on, you know, just sitting on the sofa going, it's okay, it's okay. But you just don't know, because I did that last year and then ended up filming our window blowing in, you know, which was traumatizing as anything.
I wish I'd brought a big bag with me to pick up some of this trash on the beach. That's another downside of this time of year. The beaches get messy because the tide is higher, the waves are bigger. It just brings in a load of trash. I mean, this beach was looking really nice, really clean a couple of weeks ago. A few days of really high tides. It was a full moon the other night, and I think the next day the beach was just plastic bottles everywhere. This whole bit of stone and rock here had just about 15 bottles that I counted just in one little space. It just gets brought in by the bigger tides and the bigger waves. And it's not just this beach, it is island wide. We've been to a couple of other beaches now that are also the same. They looked really nice, really pretty and sandy and clean, and now they're all kind of covered in trash again. One of the worst things are bottle tops. I mean, look at that. That's just one tiny little area here, and there's bottle caps everywhere. Alright, we're back at the house, just taking in one last look at this beautiful sky on the horizon there. It's so pretty. I love this time of day. It's actually just started to rain a little bit though, so that's why we headed home. And it is also very close to our dinner time as well, so it's dinner prep time now. Alright, here's Stories. Who got a wet dress on the beach, huh? Was it you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go near the sea without getting wet, can you? Alright, it is shower time for Story anyway. Joe's in charge of that. While I start our dinner. Actually, I don't need to do that much tonight because last night I made a bean chili and we have some leftovers, so we're going to have that. I'm just going to put some quinoa on to have with it, and that will be it. So nice, easy, quick dinner tonight. And we're going to end the vlog as well. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Bye.